These recent incidents have left many people confused. One of the deadliest attacks came on the 1st of September 2024 when ISWAP terrorists who claimed responsibility shot dead scores of people in Mafa Town, Termua local government area. Now you can find that story in Daily Trust newspaper. And moving away from stories from Boko Haram attacks, we move on to the next story, which is Tinubu defends petrol price hike, says hard decisions must be taken. Tinubu defends petrol price hike, says hard decisions must be taken. That's according to our own President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, talking about adjusted their prices to between 930 naira and 1,200 naira per litre of petrol. Now, since the removal of subsidy by Tinubu in May 2023, prices of petrol tripled, compounding the woes of Nigerians who power their vehicle and generating sets with petrol. Now, there are lots of conversations and talks on the recent increase in the price of fuel in the country. Now, away from that, we move on to the next story. Our next story from Daily Trust is still talking about the fuel price increase. Our deal with FG on petrol price, says Labour. Our deal with FG on petrol price, according to the Nigerian Labour Congress. Now, that story from Daily Trust. As Nigerians lament the latest increase in the price of petrol, there is also an ongoing tango between the federal government and the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) over the turn of events, which has added to the hardship in the country. The NLC, in an immediate reaction, asked the federal government to reverse the price to the 617 naira it was before the current hike, according to a statement by its president, Comrade Joe Ajuru. It also stated that the government's recent action runs contrary to the engagement it reached with the union, but it does not appear likely, as days after the government is set to reverse the hike in fuel price, just as it has failed to provide an explanation to the situation. That's the story by the Nigerian Labour Congress, talking about its negotiations during the minimum wage negotiations, which is the Nigerian Police Force has launched a comprehensive investigation into the activities of foreign national and subversive elements plotting to undermine the exponential increases in expenses of government. Now, there are increases in the allocations to them from the Federal Ration Account Allocation Committee, that's FAAC. Since June 2023, after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu terminated, Kaduna signs pact with UNICEF to return 200,000 out-of-school children to classroom. Kaduna signed to return 200,000 out-of-school children to classrooms. Now, the Kaduna State government on Friday signed children, particularly girls, children with disabilities and adolescents are excluded from educational opportunities, which the project aims to reverse the trend and bring about transformative change. Now, you can find that story in Daily Trust newspaper. And moving away from Daily Trust newspaper, we move on to the next national daily, which is the Guardian newspaper. Now, our first story from the Guardian newspaper: government is committed to unlocking pharmaceutical value chain, according to minister and others. Government is committed to unlocking pharmaceutical value chain, says minister and others. Now let's get that story. The Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Tunji Alausa, has said the federal government is committed to creating an enabling environment to unlock opportunities in the pharmaceutical industry, value chain and healthcare sector in general. Now he said there is a need to reduce the bottleneck holding local manufacturers in the pharmaceutical industry, to reduce the importation of pharmaceutical products, which would boost the economy of the country and create more jobs. Now you can find that story in the Guardian newspaper. And moving to security stories, troops rescue 91 kidnapped victims, kill 152 terrorists, arrest 109. Troops rescue 91 kidnapped victims, kill 152 terrorists, arrests 109. Now that story on terrorist troops on the front line across the country have neutralized 152 terrorists and arrested 109 others. Paper. And away from terrorist story, we move to this story where we find Murik protect Dangote refinery from strangulation. Murik tells FG in the likelihood of a drastic fall in the price of petroleum products once the Dangote refinery starts functioning, and in the face of the devastating blow delivered by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) by suddenly raising the price of its fuel and banning Dangote refinery from supplying any other marketer except NNPC. With the Muslim rights concerned, Murik, concerned for the plight of poor Nigerians, went on a fact-finding mission to Dangote refinery. Now you find that story in the Guardian newspaper on Dangote and fuel prices in Nigeria. Now moving away from that story, we move to the next story from the Guardian. IGP's tenure not extended according to the Nigerian police. IGP's tenure not extended according to the Nigerian police. And we get that story from the Guardian here. Contrary to reports that the Inspector General of Police may have gotten a tenure extension from the federal government, the police high command has said that law governing the IGP's tenure of office was not applied. Now, according to a spokesman of the police, ACP Muyiwa Adejobi, what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu approved for the IGP is not an extension of tenure, but rather the proper application of the law governing the tenure of the office of the IGP. Adejobi noted that contrary to the misinformation being circulated on social media, the appointment letter in circulation was issued to the IGP shortly after the police council confirmed his appointment. Now you get that story on tenure extension of the IGP, that's the Inspector General of Police, in the Guardian newspaper. And away from police story, we move on to the next story, still talking about the fuel price. Reduced fuel price, Nigerians are hungry. Kuka, NCYP, tell Tinubu APC leaders. Reduce fuel price, Nigeria